Hey guys, I'm Adam Sparks, Vanderbilt beat reporter with the Tennessean, here in the second deck of Memorial Gym, battling the sounds of the cleaning crew. If you can pick up on that, I'll compete with that sound as best I can. Vanderbilt won 92-79 tonight in the season opener over Winthrop. Obviously, the biggest story was the five-star freshman Simi, Shittu, and Darius Garland, their debut. Also, Aaron Neesmith, the four-star prospect. Yanni Wetzel is a newcomer. He's a Division II transfer. Matt Ryan, a Notre Dame transfer. So newcomers, 5 newcomers, 3 in the starting lineup. That was the theme. I thought the easiest way to do this is maybe just give some first impressions of each of the player one at a time, spending a little more time on the freshmen. Darius Garland was 9 for 15, 24 points, 4 assists. He started, and he said this after the game, Darius said he started out with some jitters. Had to work those out in the first few minutes. About 10 minutes into the game, he threw a lob and alley-oop to Saban Lee, the sophomore guard. Saban finished that off, and that tended to get Darius Garland a little more into his rhythm. From there, he just offensively asserted himself. Again, 24 points, led the way. I thought the most important thing for Garland was that he forced the issue sometimes in the right way offensively. In the preseason, some of the coaches were a little concerned that Garland was not being aggressive enough. He was trying to distribute the ball too much, be a little too unselfish. He can score on just about anybody on the floor that he's going to face this year, and he realized that in the opener. 9 of 15 shooting, 3 for 7 from the three-point line. He was just very smooth offensively. At the end of the first half, he got into an isolation. Beat his man off the dribble, made about a 15-foot fadeaway jumper. It was just the type of plays you can see him making, and you know he's been a 5-star guy for a long time, has dominated AAU games and high school games at Ritwood Academy, and you can see he already picked up his role, that he's got to be the guy that kind of leads this team, and in crunch time he's the guy that needs to be with the ball, not just to pass it but to shoot. Simi Shittu, the 6'10", very athletic guard, 5-star athletic forward. I thought the most important thing he did was kind of go end to end and show his versatility. He's a big man, but he's a guy that can move with the ball. And this is a guy that's just 8 months removed from ACL surgery, midway through his senior year in high school. He was 6 of 12, 18 points, 10 rebounds. But again, the best thing he did was get the ball off defensive rebounds, go end to end. The more he gets some agility in that injured knee, the more I think you're going to see that. He was also very assertive, even more so than Garland, because early on, Shittu took it to the rack, had a couple of dunks early on. You could tell he was not timid. I think he's going to have to get a little more physicality on the defensive end, but you kind of knew that would happen, him being a freshman. Very physical on the offensive end. He's going to have to work in a little more defensively. Matt Ryan, the Notre Dame transfer, had 4 3-pointers. You could see the energy and excitement. Ryan is going to be one of the guys that beats his chest and pops his jersey and kind of gets the emotion into this lineup. He had 3 straight threes and kind of felt the Memorial Gym magic that the Memorial Gym crowd for the first time in his career. Had a lot of energy, very streaky shooter. In some of the scrimmages in the preseason, Ryan didn't make threes, but in practice he would make them, and so you knew once the streak got going he would show how potent he is from the three-point line. I think they can count on that for most of the year. Saban Lee was very comfortable early in the game. When Garland had some jitters, you could tell Saban Lee was the guy that had been there before. He was the stud freshman for Vanderbilt last year, and it seemed to be he got more into the flow of the game immediately, and they'll work really well together. I thought Lee and Garland were really good, letting Garland be the one, but then let Lee take over the ball some as the point guard in some instances. That'd be one of the more dynamic backcourts in the country. Joe Toye, I thought, had a really good night. 12 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Worked really well in his role as kind of a 3-man, a little bit the 4, but mostly the 3. They played small some with him, small lineup, and he was good in transition. Joe Toye, and I tweeted this tonight, that he looked like a Jeff Roberson light, and that's absolutely a compliment, because Jeff Roberson was a guy that could kind of do a little bit of everything, be a dependable defender, rebounder, and that's what Joe Toye was tonight. They're going to need more of that from him. A senior on a very young team, a team of a whole lot of newcomers. they'll need his veteran leadership. He showed it tonight. Yanni Wetzel didn't attempt a shot. He's a Division II transfer. He is skilled on the offensive end, but you could tell tonight he hasn't really got it together defensively yet. He'll need to be more physical. You know, he's going to make some threes. He's going to show what he can do offensively as the year gets going. It'll just take him a little while. Max Evans didn't play that much. He's a guy that's going to have to find his role in this team. He did well late last year as a freshman, but this is kind of guard heavy. Some of their young players with Garland and Lee and some others. Evans will find a role, especially with only 9 guys on the roster, but it may take a little bit of time. Cleavon Brown played some, 6.6 rebounds. Cleavon will be a guy as a bigger body that will see his minutes go up some in games like the USC game coming Sunday, but even more so in the SEC games when there needs to be more of a physical presence. Vandy showed tonight they're going to have quite a bit of an improvement defensively. As you can imagine with the new team, Cleavon Brown will be a guy that will see his minutes go up to defend the interior. Aaron Neesmith made a 3-pointer. It was actually a 4-point play. He's a guy that, like Matt Ryan, was a streaky shooter in the preseason, played well in the scrimmages. You'll see some big games from him. Didn't happen tonight, but you'll see him have a Matt Ryan type shooting night as the year goes along. So overall, you know, I think we can see already that it's not going to be a Garland and Shittu working their way into this like typical freshmen would be. It's going to be a team that is led by the freshmen, and that's what you expect from 5-star freshmen. You know, we see it at Kentucky every year where guys come in and they're stars instantly. That's not necessarily the norm at Vanderbilt and really most other places, but it's apparent from this game, and I think moving forward, that Garland will be the guy that has the ball in his hands that decides where this team is going to go, and Simi Shittu will be a guy that, again, will take it end to end, will call for the ball, will dictate how defenses approach Vanderbilt. 2 5-star freshmen that played just like you thought they would in their opener. Vanderbilt will play at USC in LA on Sunday. That'll be a pretty big test, and then we'll kind of go from there. They'll have, I think, 4 games at home after that, and then they get into some tougher road games, and we'll see how they develop toward the SEC schedule. But a really good win for the for Vanderbilt tonight, again, 92-79. And I'm here at Memorial Gym saying a good night, or maybe even good morning at this point. Follow all of our coverage, Tennessean.com. We'll see you.